Is that Josh?
Josh.
Hello, is this Josh?
Oh, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
We've been trying to reach you for your car's extended warranty.
Oh my god, how many times has everyone got that stupid ass voicemail like in the last that's the 29 that's the phone scam meme of 2019 is that. I don't know. How are you doing, Mr. Josh? What happened? What happened?
I was gonna say, hilariously enough, apparently my voicemail got deactivated for some reason, so I never get voicemails anymore.
Hey, that's badass. I need to do whatever you did that you don't know that you did to deactivate it.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened. Like, they just turned it off. Like, randomly, my mom was like, "Yeah, you don't have voicemail anymore." I was like, "What the fuck?" Okay.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, actually. Thank God.
Thanks, Cricket.
Good old Cricket.
I honestly don't know if I want to go out of my way to reactivate it, too.
Fuck that. It might not even be worth it. Just, like, anyone important should just be able to text you anyways. So, sans a job, essentially.
Yeah, I was going to say, probably next time I'm job hunting, I'll probably reactivate it.
I would say that's wise. Mr. Josh, anything interesting happened to you this week?
Oh man. Well, it was pretty busy for work.
Oh God, no.
I did watch the, hour-long Lasagna Cat episode. That was hilarious. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that.
I couldn't say I am, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I could say it's life changing.
Is it what it sounds like? Is it exactly what it sounds like, or is it a euphemism? Is it a metaphor?
So Lasagna Cat's a YouTube channel that does. They'll do like a reenactment of a Garfield comic strip. And then they'll do like a parody or tribute video.
I feel really stupid. I didn't even get that until you just explained why it's called that. I feel really dumb.
Yeah, so
I was like, what the fuck is a Lasagna Cat? And now it makes sense.
Yeah, well, there's an episode where this actor, I think his name was John Blythe Barrymore, who's apparently the half brother to Drew Barrymore.
Wow.
Just for an hour in one take, just like. Goes off about this one Garfield comic and how it just changed his whole life. I'll link it to you later. Maybe.
That sounds good. I'll put that in the episode description so everyone can see it. I really will. So, it's interesting, right? So I know Josh, you've always been a big fan of cats. Mal, I don't know where you stand on that.
I mean, I have a cat.
Okay. So I don't, right? And I've never, admittedly, I'm not gonna, just because I'm on the internet, as an internet person, I'm not gonna bow down and be like, well, there goes the podcast, by the way, because I'm about to say I'm not really a big fan of cats. Alright, guys, well, that was the final episode of Disconnected Cast. It was nice. Anyways, no, I've never really been a big fan of cats, I just haven't. However, the funny thing is, a lot of my quirks and personality traits are more cat-like than dog-like. So even though I have a dog bias in terms of wanting... I think it's the cat in me that wants to be in control of the dog. Mm-hmm. Is why I have more... I feel like I subconsciously respect cats so much that I can't have one as a pet because I don't see them as, I free them from their bondage, and and I'd rather have a dog be subservient to me. But anyways, I have a lot of personality traits that I think line up with cat than... I'm not social, I'm very selfish, I am very you do that for me and I'm here. And
I'll just keep track of it.
Exactly. And so
I'm making a list.
I don't know if that makes me a good manager, a standard issue manager at a store or a cat. But regardless, those kind of sociopathic tendencies, I just feel like I relate more with, when people describe a cat's personality versus a dog's personality, I'm absolutely, with the exception of being very extroverted around my friends, I would definitely say I align more with a cat more than a dog. So random tangent there, but Lasagna Cat sounds cool, definitely, obviously Garfield reference that's right over my head. Right. And also, if that is the case, this Barrymore is clearly more relevant than the other one has been in ages, so... Yeah. One of the Barrymore siblings are successful right now, so at least there's that.
Yeah. I was gonna say when you said that part about the cat inside you trying to control the dog. That you could use that for like a title of a self-help book, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, I have a lot of shit going on up there, and I wouldn't say it's like I don't think people will find it very interesting per se unless you kind of like relate, I suppose, because a lot of stories I tell or a lot of I get along easier with people. I'm not a convincer. I think I'm so full of conviction in what I believe that I just don't even care to turn the other side because I just don't feel the other side can be convinced whatever the other side is, you know. But yeah, no, you know, I actually did think about doing something like that, you know, and maybe I'll revert back and be like, what the fuck was I going to name it in one of those things that Josh and I talked about? Yeah, maybe. So that's good. I also had a busy work week, but what else? Anything else, Mr. Josh, other than lasagna and cats?
Got to play some more Nier Automata. I should probably... I don't want to say I've been playing Nier and people get confused with the obscure PS3 one, but
you know,
yeah,
it could
Nier
happen.
Automata. I've been playing a bit more of that.
Cool. Do you have like God, without... You know, the game's been around for a bit. What just happened? What's the last major event that may not be a major spoiler, if it was a major spoiler, that happened?
So I'm probably about maybe, I want to say 8 or 9 hours in.
Cool.
And
it's a long game.
And I will say, of course, I have been doing a whole bunch of side quests rather than going through the story immediately. But
game.
I will say, story-wise, there was a part where you do have a conflict with one of the main antagonists.
Okay.
If that helps.
I can read you. I read you.
Probably, I think it's the third.
Yeah, that's going to sound very vague to people who've never played it, but I know what you mean. Okay, that's cool. Nice. Well, yeah, you know, would you agree that the side quests in that, like kind of completing everything in that game doesn't feel so bothersome like it can in some games? Like, it doesn't seem encumbersome. Like, I actually feel like I want to do the side stuff. I don't know if you felt...
I mean, I had some mixed feelings because, on the one hand, I was like, wow, this is a lot of traveling because I didn't unlock fast travel at the time.
Oh, okay, fair enough, yeah. It's a bit arduous at that point.
Yeah, so I'm doing a lot of running around, but at the same time, the visuals and the music is so great that it's a good trade-off, in my opinion.
Are you playing
I'm spending a lot of time running around, but...
Are you playing on PS4 or PC?
PS4.
Mm-hmm. If you're playing on PC, I was going to ask if you're running on like Ultra 4K. I was just going to ask you how it looks.
I don't even think I have the monitors that would be able to do that.
That's true.
Maybe one of them.
Okay, there you go. But what else?
And then later I found out I had fast travel, and I was like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah, once you do that, it's not so bad. I agree, though. I can see it definitely being a bit much at first. I forgot about those dark times in that part of the game before you get fast travel. What else?
Trying to think of other stuff. Yeah, I think that's about it. It hasn't really been too eventful for me.
Mostly just work, which I fucking... I feel you there, buddy.
Yeah, this week was really stressful for me because something broke almost every single day. That's
actually, like, I obviously use it in hyperbolic sense a lot, but that's actually the worst. Like, when that bullshit is just happening, and you're like, fucking why? Like, actually, why?
Exactly. So,
Miss Mallory?
I think that concludes my thing.
All right.
This week was busy.
Nice. All right. So
I worked a lot.
This has been such an eventful week.
Sorry, I just got a picture from my sister, and it's my nephew. I just gave him his birthday present.
Oh, there you go. What'd you get him?
I got him a Godzilla plush, and he's actually sleeping with it.
Oh, it's the Kid Robot plush that I really want to get. That's been on my list for forever.
I also got him a Japanese exclusive Beanie Baby of King Ghidorah.
Oh, hell yeah.
That hasn't come in yet. But she just sent me the cutest photo, and that's why I was like, well...
Yeah.
But no, I worked a lot, and then we cut overtime, so I've been free after work now, which is crazy to me.
What?
Yeah. Usually I'm at, like, 60 hours.
Are you doing that thing where it's, like, seasonal overtime? Like, there are parts where there's, like, like seasons, or is it just...
No,
now?
it's just sporadic.
Okay.
We just haven't had the medical studies to do it
So
on.
more often than not, you are pretty much almost...
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Because I know there's some places that have, like... Josh, didn't you work at a place that kind of had sporadic but blackout, like usually has overtime available, but had like blackout spots where it really wasn't?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I don't know. Almost every job I had, they were always trying to get overtime.
Okay.
Because most of them have been like call centers.
Okay, yeah, so
I
so...
did used to work for HEB, and if you hit your 40, they pretty much wanted you to GTFO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As standard retail, yeah, where I am right now, that's the case for sure. Like fucking if you're 38, 39, they let fucking take an extended lunch be 37, the happier they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would go understaffed rather than have to pay overtime.
Exactly, absolutely, which fucking thank you, corporate America.
Yeah.
But what else, Mallory, other than Kid, Robot, and King Ghidorah?
And then yesterday I went car shopping because I'm looking for my Jeep.
Her dream Jeep, but...
My dream Jeep.
But you didn't roll up in that today, so I'm guessing...
No, it didn't happen. Not this time.
If you found it, are you already ready to go? Like, if you had found it, would that have been... You'd pull the trigger? Okay, so you're already ready to pull the trigger.
Yeah,
That's good.
like, I mean, I'm just saving money at this point, and it's pretty much just when I find it, I find it. But this one dealership I went to, I almost wanted to, like, punch this sales guy in the face.
God.
Because I'm looking for a 2-door Jeep.
And he kept trying to push.
Well, he was like, well, we have a 4-door. And I was like,
listen, bitch. Did I say 4?
I'll look at it. And he's like, well, what if you want to have kids someday? And I was like...
Well,
but that's not a selling point to me. Like, I don't even like kids. And I looked at my brother-in-law, and I was like, does he know that I'll push little kids down? And my brother-in-law was like, Mallory... Like,
he doesn't even know who you are.
Yeah, he's like, I love you, but, you know, you don't say that to salespeople. And I was like, well,
I would assume his
me.
pitch would have worked 9 times out of 10, because... When I use the future kids
Not that
pitch,
I'll actually push little kids down. I actually love little kids and volunteering at a children's hospital. So
I literally have done that. So like, I don't want to get in any legal trouble, but that may have happened in my past, even though I just said it did.
I mean, it's a Jeep. There's places to hang on to.
Yeah, you can hang them.
It's good grip practice.
Yeah.
But then
But anyway, so
that rubbed me the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, all right, well, I'm okay with not buying from this dealership.
Yeah, I'm okay with not getting this car fuck.
And then I went... Oh, I finished season 2 of Mindhunter, which is a show about how the FBI Bureau of... what is it? The Behavioral Analysis Unit got started, and they go and like follow like serial killers, and they like watch.
Oh, that's cool.
They interview them.
This is really similar to another show that I watched, unless it was that one. I just forgot it's called that. But
it's so good.
Sounds good.
And one of my coworkers is like, "Why do you watch things like this? You need Jesus." And I'm like, "Because it's interesting, and you know, if you're ever in trouble, I can help you."
I've always seen because there really is a cult fan base for serial killers, right? Like real serial killers, right? You have the horror movie buffs who have seen every, Man at the Lagoon or whatever the fuck movie, every fucking Dracula, everything like they've seen every horror movie. You have those, and you have the people who are really genuinely into serial killer stuff. I wouldn't say I'm heavily into serial killers, like I study every fucking Ed Gein or whatever, but I do get at least. Whereas I have no relation to horror. You know what I mean? Because I just like, why do you like to shit yourself? Like, I don't, where I have no relation to that, I definitely can say I see the intrigue in serial killers because, A, it's real, which is very interesting. I know some horror movies are based on real stuff, but these serial killer stuff is real. It did happen, and I find it intriguing because of how different all the serial killers were. Whether you have the Manson-esque mental, he made other people do it. You have your Bundys, you have your Geins, you have stuff like that.
You have BTK.
Yeah, Dahmer, and it's absolutely. I genuinely find them fascinating. I don't know. Like, I guess what I'm just trying to say is I get it, which is really interesting. Like I said, I wouldn't say I'm fucking walking around wearing a fucking Bundy t-shirt, but I'm unless it's Al Bundy.
Yeah,
I think that is where you draw the line. Is when some people start to kind of romanticize some of these
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, to me, that's to the point where it's like,
super weird.
yeah, it's like you're either really edgy or you're too into it.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm really interested because of the psychology behind it.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
It
That's
just
what I
interests
find
me to
interesting.
think of, like, how bad people can be.
Mhm.
And, like, want to understand their brains. But then they're, like, so methodical and organized. I'm like, wow, awesome.
Mhm.
Like, you did all of this and you planned it. Like, it's just really interesting to me. And I'm so glad that my other coworker at work is just as interested in it as I am. So we'll, like, sit there and, like, look stuff up and talk about it. My other coworker is just now getting into it, and she's like, seriously, guys, I never thought I'd have to think about these things. She's like,
Oh, geez.
yeah. She's like, now I have a list of, like, places I won't go. I'm like, oh, my gosh. Don't be like that. She's like, I don't want to leave my house. I'm like, oh, my gosh. It's not that bad. But I had to explain
You're
to her.
more likely to get electrocuted by a toaster.
Yeah, like... it's just so
Well,
funny.
Random fact.
So I finished that.
It almost sounded like obviously I was just a few feet away from the microphone, but you could have taken that, and if I cut that out of context, it could sound like you could be like, were they talking about A, watching serial killers, or B, trying to reassure someone who's going on their first flight? Because that almost seems to be the other thing is like people have to bust out because some people are so absolutely scared of flying that you have to pull out the whole. Well, you have a higher chance of getting into a car crash than you do in a plane
Yeah.
crash.
Mm.
There's also more cars on the road than
Exactly.
planes.
Well,
Like-
you're not supposed to. You're supposed to hope that the person doesn't realize that is the case.
It's
but
just a statistic to help them at that
yeah,
point.
exactly. I mean, come on, guys. Statistically speaking, you have a higher chance of choking on Spam than you do being hit by a half black, half Asian guy.
Right?
But yeah.
I want
Facts.
to find, like, random, like, statistics.
No, let's not do.
facts.
Let's not go down
No,
that
I'll do
rabbit
that
hole.
next week. I'll have a whole bunch of them for you guys.
Anything else? I just realized that was a tangent.
No, not really.
Alrighty. Sorry,
my
I just realized it's been 16 minutes and
Oh.
we haven't started the news, so that's the only
Anyways,
reason I wanted to go.
How was your
Yeah.
week, Patrick?
The real quick breakdown, No Man's Sky Beyond just dropped a shitload of stuff. The patch notes was like 12 pages long.
Jesus.
So I'm not going to go into all that, but great update. Again, I talked about it on the podcast before. I forgot what genre with you guys, but the game came out. It was shit. I gave it a fucking like 3 or 4 out of 10. It was up to like now a 7 or 8 out of 10 in my opinion. I do tend to grade very hard, so for most people it's like a 9 out of 10, but it's really good. They changed all that stuff, quality of life stuff. You can now see, again, this is like a game that was in early access essentially that was sold for $60 is where the controversy was, but yeah, no, you can see other characters' customizations now. They increased the multiplayer from 4 players to 8 players.
Okay.
They've more ship customizations, more base. They added all sorts of brand new NPCs, story elements, stuff like that. Just like the game is a total 180 from launch. And anyone who was scared away or still like, really, No Man's Sky and gritting their teeth at me, trust me, I was there with you when it came out, launched, and I was absolutely disappointed. But it's totally turned around. When they pick it up, it's on sale on all platforms. And as of this recording, I don't know about watch by the time it drops on Monday. Of course, that's when most sales end. So you're probably SOL. But as of right now, it's 50% off everywhere.
Oh, wow.
And all updates and expansions are free as an apology, essentially.
Okay.
So
Oh, wow.
it's fantastic.
And-
I always have a love-hate relationship. This I know we talked about before, where when games like this set a precedence, where it's like No Man's Sky did a 180, and it's like, yeah, please, but don't do that though. But we're gonna say something, Josh. Sorry, I didn't mean to like if you were gonna.
Yeah, I was
interrupt.
gonna say it only took how long?
A little over 2 years to get good.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say I was originally gonna say 2 years, but then I was like, has it really been 2 years?
yeah, yep. August 2017 is when it initially launched, to the dismay of many. And it's the thing I do love is the fact that, unlike Randy Pitchford, who we are going to indirectly talk about today, unlike Randy Pitchford, at least what the No Man's Sky devs did was like, they got hit with the criticism. They were like, they didn't even really apologize per se, but they also didn't have Johns, so they were just like, oh, okay, that was bad. They just stayed quiet for like almost a year and a half, and then dropped the first big update, which came out 6 months ago, which was very good. And now they dropped this new one 6 months after that. So they're in it, like, for real now. And, like, I, again, really applaud the fact that they made no excuses, owned up to it, and are like, the biggest dickbag move we can do is charge for this shit, so let's not. So yeah, no, all inclusive, all free. Probably the best way for me to explain the NPCs they just added is like Mass Effect 2 style NPCs. It was actually kind of interesting. You do want to talk to them. They gave the NPCs autonomy now, so they go around kind of Skyrim-esque and or Elder Scrolls-y and like walk around and do their daily routines. You can catch them traveling and farming too. It's really cool. It's like even if you play it by yourself, it gives you a sense of like there is other people there. So it's really good. Bought a few upgrades for my PC. I bought some new computer speakers because I finally caved in. I was doing my Amazon struggle desk for a bit, and as I explained to Mallory well, we're not on camera ever, but even that was originally going to be a thing, but it's too much work. But I finally decided to get a proper desk that is still collapsible. My whole thing is I wanted it to be modular, so that way if I ever do need more room in my room to like host the thing, it won't be more than an hour's worth of work to just slam everything away and put it, if I get a nice ass, build, like a desk that has to be built, some nice Java colored wood, and I was like, yeah, it's going to look dope as fuck, but guess what, if I need that space, I'm fucking disassembling that for fuck all to have anyone over. Fuck, we don't fit in my room, get out. So I basically sectioned my room. I got sectioned. No, I basically sectioned my room where I have my TV/bed couch area, and then I have my little editing computer office behind the TV now. So there's no proper walls or anything, but there's a clear division in my room. So that's how it's set up now, and I like it actually. It's nice. I also bought a new one of those cushions for your ass when you sit on your PC for like 8+ hours, because as anyone probably would have learned by now, I have fucking chronic ass back problems. So I throw that shit out almost every year. It's been amazing. It's like a fucking $24 cushion for your seat, but it takes like all the tension off your back. Like my sister-in-law had it, and I was just like, well, the fuck, this would work really, and I absolutely love it. So good. So good on my back's getting better. Got a desk now. Editing station's nice. Everything's good on there, and yeah, that's a thing. The only reason I said it like that is because I can't read the next note on my fucking thing. What the fuck does this say? What the fuck? Oh! Okay, let's just get right into it. So I sent you guys... Wooly and Pat talked about this episode or two ago on the podcast, but the NBA 2K voice acting is probably... Move over, Troy Baker.
My God.
We have NBA players now. Laura Bailey, take a hike, because we have NBA players now. That has to... We've all heard bad voice acting in video games and media in general before. But... Josh, how did you describe the NBA 2K voice acting?
Oh, jeez. Okay. Put me on the spot like that. Yeah, so... Yeah, it just sounded like everybody was having a stroke. I'm sorry.
It really did. It was really cringy and bad, but also hilarious, because the sad thing is, these were the players really trying their damnedest. Especially the guy who was just like struggling to read the script. Yeah, man, you know that you stick with them, and we do that. And I'm like, no one talks like that unless they're reading a piece of paper.
So they actually had actual NBA players, huh?
This is what they thought was a good idea. Rather than get professional voice actors to dub over the NBA players, they paid the NBA players even more than they already make to voice act in the NBA game, which it's not like the story mode was really going to be that compelling, but I would love to... This is why I wish I had billionaire fuck you money. What I would do is I would hire all the players that did the voice acting in that game. That was just the highlights. There's a huge reel of like a long ass compilation of this stuff. No, it's real. No, it's real. I would hire all those guys to redub all the Persona games for me and do every line of dialogue, just for the lulz. Because if I had that kind of fuck you money, I would just be like, dude, what are you making a year? 30 million? Here, take it. Now, your character's name is Yosuke. Now, I know that's going to be really hard for you to say. Really hard for you to say, because you could barely say that sentence earlier. But
Oh man.
This is what I'm
My
paying
name
for.
is Yosuke.
Yosuke.
I like to hang out at the Junes.
The Junes.
Safe
It's
place.
June, sir. It's Juness,
Every
sir.
day is great at your Junes.
Oh no, this is a disaster. Why did I pay this much money? But basically, anyways, that shit was funny. I'm gonna link that below also because you guys need to see that. That was good memes.
Starring LeBron James as Nanako.
Hey, you know what? We laugh, but remember, LeBron James did finalize that deal for Space Jam 2, so prepare to hear that in a Space Jam movie.
Jesus.
Talk about, like, dude, even... I just don't see any redeeming... Like, why? Leave it alone.
Like, just let it be.
Like, we're already, like, let it be. Like, Space Jam was a classic. Fucking, I watched that movie, like, a trillion times.
Right.
Like, why? That... A, didn't need a sequel, and then B, if it didn't have Michael Jordan again, like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, I would have almost been okay with Michael Jordan just doing it again. Like, it's another Bill and Ted 20 years too late, but... fuck it, I would have at least been like, it's Michael Jordan again at least.
A lot happier about it.
Looney Tunes crew, but that's just like, it's fucking LeBron, like, ugh. Alright, speaking of wash-ups, Apex Legends, no, I'm joking. No, I mean, it is Apex Legends, but Apex Legends actually has more of a career than LeBron does right now. Now, Apex Legends recently been on a bit of controversy, so usually we're talking about Fortnite, which we will talk about controversy with Fortnite lately,
of course.
because Epic Games, but... Epic, god damn it, Apex is a four-lettered word also. They clearly sound so similar.
They do.
No, Apex Legends has kind of like the worst... I was the one who cursed them, by the way, because just last week when I talked about their solo event, I was just like, they haven't really done anything wrong. Like, you can go back to that episode and hear me say that. I said the worst thing Apex Legends did was put some boring-ass loot boxes that didn't have good shit in it. Then I talked about the way Fortnite's loot boxes work and all that stuff. But anyways, Apex Legends, I shit you not, like, the day after... Yeah, because that's when the update dropped. Yep. The day after, I said that, fucked up, and dropped the ball. The ball. Dropped the ball. I don't know what the fuck. I'm having a stroke now because of the fucking NBA 2K fucking voice acting.
Oh, yeah. Did you watch that video?
Over there.
I was just listening to Matt, Wooly, and Pat talk about The Departed 2, so that was also... The Departed also. There is no Departed 2, even though there should be, except there can't be. Anyways, so Apex Legends dropped the ball because they did one of those things where... Yeah, they technically didn't, but they did, right? So, Apex Legends recently introduced a bunch of limited time gear and stuff to coincide with their event that they're doing. The event, in total, your little pieces here, little pieces there, obviously don't cost that much, right? They have an axe in the game that you can only get by obtaining every piece of these items that are out right now. The grand total you have to spend in Apex Legends right now to get this axe for whatever the fuck class, because fuck getting this, I don't even care. The amount you have to spend is $170. So, although it may not be a lump sum right at the surface, $170, if you really like that axe, it's pee good and looks pretty cool for your deal, you have to spend $170. There's no random chance of like, well, maybe you can spend $10 on loot boxes and you can win it. Nope. That shit ain't dropping until you own all $170 of the content. So, that was, of course, met with extreme criticism. Unless you guys are going to say otherwise. Yeah, that's... Yep.
Okay.
Unless you're going to say otherwise, unless you guys have any sort of defense there, I mean, pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
Like,
seems like a lot to spend.
It's pretty skeevy.
Yeah, it's skeevy, definitely. And that's what a lot of these manufacturers are doing. It's like the EA surprise mechanics thing. They're not even owning up to it or redacting it. They're just trying to see, like, how can we tiptoe around it? That's the biggest fucked up thing about it. And it is EA, let's not forget. Yeah. It may be Respawn developing it, but EA's calling the shots. They're the bankrollers. So this is still a very EA-esque thing to secretly... hide this axe behind a $170 paywall. Secret paywall. It's like they took the bricks apart, but you still got to build the wall to get the thing, right? So it's probably Trump's favorite game right now. Now, with that being said, this is where Respawn went a bit awry. So in the Apex Legends Reddit, they were very much... everyone is expressing their disdain. Jim Sterling did a whole piece on it, and of course, Jim Sterling is probably one of the most vocal and listened to in the hardcore gaming community in terms of his very strong opinions, for better or worse. He gets a lot of flack, too, for when he gives Breath of the Wild a 7 out of 10. But he definitely doesn't, back down. So when he takes a stance, it's normally a strong one. Well, a lot of people, of course, agree with him. $170, fuck that, that's bullshit. It counts as a $170 microtransaction even though it isn't. Well, it's not a micro, it's a mega transaction at that point. Well, everyone is griping, and what do the devs do? They go on in several back and forths with several Redditors and go as far as to call them asshats and freeloaders. Yeah, you don't want to do that when your game is free to play and you absolutely depend on these players to pay money.
Damn freeloaders don't have $170 to buy,
a digital axe.
Fucking plebs.
Yeah, it's really bad. I'm gonna link the article / Reddit threads below, but you can go see. Like, I made sure to read up on it, made sure this wasn't taken out of context, and that it wasn't, they called it asshat in post, or quoted Randy Pitchford saying asshat or something. No, they get pretty volatile, and the Apex devs got very unprofessional on that Reddit. Now one may say, hey, it's Reddit, freedom of speech, whatever you want to say, but in my opinion, you're a professional developer and you want these people to play your games, you gotta learn how to bite your fucking tongue. Mm-hmm. People do it all the fucking time. And I think there are more professional ways to maybe have handled the thing. I'm not saying you gotta be an ass-sucking CEO and do one of those bullshit fucking redacted statements and, do the sugar-coated, EA thing about it and call it surprise mechanics. I'm not saying you gotta go that... Oh, it is EA, that's right, never mind. Well, anyways, you don't necessarily have to do that, though. But at the same time, I think this is a bit much. Like, you hear about those devs that went in, and you know what I mean? And the kind, some of them were indie devs that just don't take shit from other people. Respawn, I don't consider them an indie dev, per se. Like, they're published by EA now, and they're owned by EA now, rather, and they are essentially a AAA developer now. Not that being an indie developer gives you a free pass on that either, because we're going to go back on that Ooblet story is actually what I'm about to talk about in a second. But what do you guys think about that? Do you feel that there's any sort of way do you guys feel any empathy for the Apex guys? Because I think we all understand the frustrations, right? Mm-hmm. You work hard on this game. It is essentially a good game. Let's just say the Respawn devs did have a gun to their head, and EA is the one who made them put that $170 axe in there. Okay? All that being said, putting all that on the table, my opinion is still that was not a good call. I don't think that even if they didn't call them asshats and stuff, I think fighting with Redditors and your fan base is not really an appropriate course of action ever, really.
No, I mean, there's definitely a better way to handle it. You don't have to really go that low. You just make a statement.
Yeah.
If you really sympathize, and if it was really an instance where they put a gun to their heads, there's a way to convey that.
Absolutely. Even though
a bunch of asshats and freeloaders.
Exactly. Even though Turtle Rock Studios did it because they died, they were able to explain that Evolve failed and didn't go the route they wanted it to because fuck 2K. And same thing with the Destiny does when they cut off with Activision Blizzard, and now they have all this. Apparently, Destiny 2 is fantastic right now. They basically, they let it all on the table because they have no reason to, other than slandering. So you got to be careful how you word it. Again, there's professionalism, but they put it all on the table. Activision said, "You like this, you like that. You see how we're running the game now. This wasn't 3 years of nothing. This was us being tied down." All this time, and this is what we've been trying to give you guys from the get-go. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, we have to take Bungie's word for it, of course. Yeah. This also could be a case of they got lucky that it turned around like No Man's Sky. But I agree with you, Josh. There are ways to go about it and be brutally truthful without losing professionalism.
Yeah.
And I think that it was just a couple of them, so I'm not going to throw Respawn under the bus entirely. But the two guys that went off in the Reddit forums, I don't know if the course of action should be fired or not. It all depends on how the studio handles that kind of thing. But I think that they have been forced by the company since to apologize, whether it was EA or Respawn that forced them to. But still, I mean, it's easy to say I'm sorry, but it still happened. And I think that I wish I could personally say what should be done, but it's not a thing to be taken lightly, I don't think. So, I don't know. Mallory?
Well, I don't like that they called, their people asshats or dicks. Like, that's just unprofessional in any way. But I'm reading these threads through the Reddit. I just sent it to the group chat. And it's like selling popcorn emojis for $18 a piece or buy random emojis for just $7 a piece. And, like, it's making me laugh so hard because that's literally what they're trying to get the other people to do.
Exactly. And it really is, I mean, forgive me, Respawn, but it's almost Randy Pitchford-esque. Mm-hmm. Whenever Randy Pitchford lied about microtransactions being in Borderlands 3, microtransactions are going to be in Borderlands 3. Randy Pitchford said microtransactions were not going to be in Borderlands 3. He fucking lied. The publications, Eurogamer and everyone else, tore him a new one. And what does he do? A CEO would have either just not said anything, or would have been like, look guys, there seems to have been some sort of misunderstanding. What does he do? He goes on Twitter, which they just need to take Twitter away from everyone, first of all. What he does is he goes on Twitter and he goes, oh, you guys, come on, you guys know what I mean. You guys are being philosophical. And he pinged, that was directly at Eurogamer, I believe it was the one who broke the story. Not even broke the story, just pointed out his bullshit that he just did 5 minutes ago. And he was just like, you guys know what I meant. I meant there wasn't going to be like, loot boxes and stuff. I didn't say there wasn't going to be pay cosmetics, even though that's what a microtransaction is, bro. And then how does he end the tweet? Why you guys, and this is a verbatim quote, why you guys would fuck me on this is beyond me. Quote, Randy Pitchford to a CEO, the CEO of Gearbox, to Eurogamer, a professional gaming journalism company. Can you imagine if Tim Apple, good old Tim Apple, had wrote a statement to like the fucking CEO of Samsung because like say they blatantly ripped something off of the Galaxy and then said they didn't, and then everyone submitted all this, Samsung submitted all this proof that showed it, and then he told the CEO of Samsung in an official press letter, and I know it's Twitter, but still, I'm being a bit hyperbolic, but he was just like, why Samsung would try to fuck me on this is beyond me, and that's that's the CEO fucking saying that shit. It's like, what the fuck? Like they're, again, call it not being a corporate dick sucker, because you do have those empathizers for both Randy Pitchford and the two Respawn guys who are like, you guys just being a bunch of soft pusses. They're just calling it how it is. And it's just like, yeah, but still though, there's still they're still professionals, and there still should be professionalism. So I don't think it's a matter of us that are saying this is unprofessional being a bunch of pussies per se. I think it's us just being like, really, a company's doing this?
Like, why would you fight with people, though, like that?
Yeah!
Like, what is the point of
people on the internet got mad. Wow!
It's the internet, though. Like, just leave it alone. Like, put out a press statement and leave it alone. Like,
exactly.
Don't fight back.
That's the way it should have been handled. Yeah. It's like, God. And the sad thing is, right, this is exactly why even a good game like Apex Legends, this is the way Fortnite monetizes, the way everyone is just cancerously monetizing everything, this is why you can't trust free-to-play games. Because Respawn came out as the ideal way to do a free-to-play game at first, and now look what happened. Within 2 seasons, have already shit the bed.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is why you can't trust free-to-play. You just really can't. It's a damn shame, but you really can't. To me, my personal favorite example of a free-to-play game that did it right was Dungeons & Dragons Online, which I can speak from 5 years of obsessive experience. But basically, they started off like WoW, and like anyone that is an MMO, you are, whether you try to or not, you are going to directly compete with WoW as an MMO. It failed. They had their last ditch effort was A, shut down their doors, or B, go free to play. Fucking let people see why it's that. And guess what? It's free to play right now. It's truly free to play. There may be cosmetics and microtransactions, which Jim would hate me for defending that. But to me, the base game is free, and the way I like it, and I know other games do this, but I like the way Turbine Games does this, so the ones who do the Lord of the Rings MMO and the D&D MMO, the way they do it is, the game is, you can play it from beginning to cap, absolutely free with the base classes. That you have your premium post-launch classes, but all the launch classes are free. You have one of the launch races was locked, the Warforged, and then you have the ones that came on later updates you can buy. But the thing is, that's nice about it is you do not have to have a subscription. I don't play D&D Online on a subscription. I buy everything a la carte. So when I'm ready to do the end game raid, I just bought it. Mm-hmm. When I want to play a half elf, I just bought it. Mm-hmm. You know, I spent a lot less money than on a $10 a month subscription or a $60 a year, whatever these deals are that these companies make, because I got to, and I only bought what I needed as I needed it. Yeah. Oh, I'm level 50 now. Time to buy the level 50 shit. Guess what? It was like $10, $15. Didn't kill me that month, because guess what? It took me like 5 months to cap this character anyways. So, because that's another thing about D&D Online is turned off a lot of people is it has a high ass learning curve. You can fuck up a character hard and totally have to re-roll them from scratch in that game if you do not know what you're doing. If you don't know 3.5 rules, if you don't know the way the classes function on pen and paper and translate that into the games, because all the attacks, all the chances, everything like that, all your constitution affecting this, your dexterity affecting that, absolutely works just like pen and paper into the game. So if you do that wrong, just like scrapping your paper and having to do it again, that's how you do it digitally, basically. Mm-hmm. My whole point to say is that there's very few times I can think of where free-to-play was done correctly. Yeah. Most stuff is done properly when you pay for it, and guess what? I'm okay with that. Yeah. I'm tired of this free-to-play cell phone nonsense coming to consoles, as long as the product's good. I'll give you my $60 if you give me $60 worth of game. Like, that's all I ask for, really. But I don't know.
Give us a good game.
Do you guys have any particular free-to-play examples that you guys like, the way they do it? It's not common.
Probably
it's not
the
common.
only. I mean, I know I can definitely do a good counter argument. Or not counter argument, but I guess example, bad example. Like WoW. I think if you do free to play, you can only get to like level 20 or 25. Yep. And you can't even like add to friends.
Correct.
Message people.
Yeah. It's free to play up to level 20 or 25 asterisk, big ass asterisk.
Yeah.
Like hella limited.
Yep. In regards to actual free to play games that I myself play, probably the one mobile game I haven't played it in a while, but it's probably the one mobile game that I played the most was Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. I think it's decent for free to play. I'm not gonna say it's like the best.
Okay, but in terms of mechanics, not too skeevy, able to play. Can you get can you enjoy the game fairly well without having to spend money or an exorbitant amount of money? Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. That's great to hear.
Like, there's absolutely nothing that you cannot do without spending some money. There are a few
get ahead
items, like there's cosmetic items like game mats and card sleeves that you have to pay money for. Some of the structure decks, I think you can use gems to get those. But otherwise, you can save up gems and just buy booster packs.
They
might not be able to buy like a whole box right away, but
they do not do the cardinal sin, because this is this mechanic. If this isn't a cell phone game, I refuse to even give them a look. Is they don't do the thing where you can only play 3 games a day, or you need to spend gems to play another one, do they?
Oh no!
Okay,
now,
thank God. I hate that shit.
There will be instances where like you have little NPC characters that you can just duel just for, just to get like basic experience or whatever, and there's a recharge time, and yeah, you can buy an item to, just automatically, get them to show up again, but later on, like if you just keep progressing through the game, you can get to a point where it doesn't really matter that much. And
Okay.
for me, I mostly play it when if it's a slow day at work. Sometimes I'll play it, or if I'm just doing nothing at home. So I'm never in an instance where I'm like, damn, I just beat all these NPCs and literally have nothing to do. So it's never been a problem for me.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, but
That's good to hear.
otherwise, you can play the game just fine without having to put real money into it.
Awesome. No,
Now,
that's good to hear.
have I? Yes.
Hey,
because
dude,
sometimes I want to get started.
yeah, I don't even want to talk about how much, even in D&D Online, when I did say I spent way less than I would have versus a yearly subscription, that was to play the game. I was not, when it comes to cosmetics and all that other bullshit, I have definitely spent a lot more money than I should have on that game. But
I will give a bit of a disclaimer. If you want to play it competitively,
okay, fair enough.
You're pretty much gonna have to spend money, because if you want to get play sets of the good cards, it's just a lot quicker to buy them.
Yep, and it is.
Grind gems.
But at least because of the style of game, I can just, and some people are gonna hang me for this too, because everyone wants to hang me. Is you can equate it to buying card packs, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I mean, if you're really just playing a card game for casual fun, you can go to a card shop. You can buy a starter deck for like $10 or $20, depending on the game, of course.
Yeah.
And just play. But if you want to play competitively, you're gonna have to dish out some money, because you're gonna have to. So pretty much, you're either gonna buy a lot of sealed product, or you're gonna go the cheaper route and buy singles. And depending on the game, some of those cards are expensive. If you're playing Magic the Gathering, you need 4 of those fetch lands. Guess what? Those are going to be like $20 or $30 each. Yep. And you need 4.
Exactly. And so, that being said, I see it no more malicious than a TCG. So, if you think TCGs are malicious and cancerous and IRL free-to-play mechanics, then so be it. But it's not. And because of that, I feel that this kind of game, because of the style of game it is, I think it's totally fair. So that's good to know. Miss Mallory, do you have any free-to-play obsessions that you were into or got into recently or ever?
Not really. I kind of stay away from, like, free-to-play games.
No, they're usually bad, so that's smart.
So, like, I've never wanted to spend extra money on skins or anything.
Good.
Like, I think the only one I actually paid money for was something in Destiny once. Like the
Thank God, they're getting rid of the cash shop, by the way. Thank fucking God for that. They're getting rid of microtransactions. So, but that sounds like a very Bungie-esque thing versus fucking Activision.
I hate it what they did in Destiny 2 with that shit.
Yep, that's completely going away.
So you can maybe get some in-game currency to maybe buy the thing you want.
It was definitely maybe layered with maybe. So
like, I've never trusted the whole, like, free-to-play games at all, so I've just never gotten into them. I also don't give them a chance, especially if I hear that they're free-to-play, because then I'm like, you have to spend money on something, and I don't want to get attached to a game.
Well, and that's the thing.
I can only play, like, 20 levels, and then I have to buy another part of it.
Exactly.
So, I just don't find it fun.
And that's kind of where the maliciousness comes from. It's where Jim Sterling's gripes always come from, and why I totally am on the board of, like, optional should always be used in quotations or with an asterisk, because sometimes, and yes, it's still a personal decision. I'm not dismissing anyone's behavior. However, it is that little sniff of the first loot box for free that does get some people. I fucking spent hundreds of dollars in loot boxes on Overwatch, and I just realized how stupid I am for doing that. But, hey, it feels good though when you get that skin. It took me $100 to get per event, but it was good. So that's the whole point of that. When people go, but Jim, it's optional. Yes, it is. So is smoking crack and alcohol.
Yeah.
But
so is working a job.
Yeah,
you don't have to work a job.
Exactly. Everything's optional. Exactly. So it's one of those things where I really hate when people just like slam his Twitter with like, yo, but it's optional. It's optional. It's like there's layers to it though, especially when. There's this really scary video of like this guy. I don't know if it's exactly a TED Talk, but it's that style of presentation. If it was, and it's this dude from he had like a Norwegian or that Scandinavian area.
Swedish.
It was Swedish, right? And
you're talking about the one where he did Torf Jorgensen or something.
That's
like
the
that?
one. Yep. where
I think he's Swedish.
Yeah, he breaks down the Business Insider of how they formulate these free-to-play things. Where, like, Fortnite was absolutely, I don't care what Epic Games says, Fortnite was absolutely engineered for kids to get bullied in school, so they ask their parents for money because having a pleb-ass base skin makes you a fucking loser. Mm-hmm. And the game was actually designed with that in mind. Did they use that exact phrasing terminology? Obviously not. But the guy's speech, the guy's talk, it's scary because it shows you how predatory these companies are. This and that, it's that kind of thing. Why I think that the it's just optional argument is horseshit to just dismiss the entire plague of microtransactions like that. It's not that simple.
No.
It's not as simple as just optional. I like the way that Jim Sterling puts it. I've already sucked Jim Sterling's dick 12 times this podcast, but he makes a lot of good points where he made a good point where he said, optional would mean I can remove microtransactions from my game entirely. Mm-hmm. Patch it out. That's optional. He goes, if I can just 100% remove it so I have no ability to do microtransactions in my copy of the game anymore, that's optional. He goes, until then, you keep popping up a baby ad in the bottom when you load up the game or something like that, that's not optional. And so I agree with him on that point. Okay, so that was another like 20 minutes. I need to fucking go on tangents. But I mean, the thing is though, that's what we're here for. I mean, what I start to do is I just trim the news because that was a really big thing that happened this past week where it's like $170 acts, let's not forget, and shit talking your audience is the two things that sparked this entire conversation.
Yeah.
And it's just one of many cases of A, lack of professionalism in the business, and then B, exploiting your business and using ill business practices to sinisterly fuck your audience that's supporting your game. What I was going to wrap up on that thought is a little bit of follow-up to the Ooblets because people, and to be fair, I think they're right. People accused me, and I feel has some grounds, of making the Ooblets developers sound like saints because they were not. So let me clarify. The entire Ooblets saga started because the Ooblets people were very condescending in the tone of their Epic Games announcement defense. So when they announced the Epic Games thing, there was a lot of backlash, obviously, and they kind of did what the Respawn people did a little kind of bit, where they were like, "You mad, bro?" Well, so they did start off on the wrong foot. However, the reason I wanted to put it in the light that I did is A, I figured people already knew that part of the story, so I should have been a little more clear on that for those who didn't. And then B, it did go too far. I don't redact my statement that no developer should have death threats, fake tweets of anti-Semitism or anything like that.
Or fake Patreon.
However, Ooblets devs, you should probably watch it next time because now you see what happens when the internet claps back.
Yeah.
So, just don't be a dick on the internet. Like, I think that, like, a lot of this can be avoided when you're not an asshole. Like, of course, I get harassed even, and I don't even go out of my way to just, all I say is, like, this, for example, I got in trouble just for trying to say that being a dick on the internet's wrong. So now I have to explain myself on why being a dick on the internet is wrong. But yeah, there's a bit of that. Like, one of the things they did that I did think was kind of funny, though, although unprofessional as fuck, but I will say it was pretty funny, is the devs took one of their character models and just had them do a flossing dance as a, like, you mad on the fucking thing. So that was not very professional, but I found it really funny as a, like, you mad bro thing. So there's that. What's not funny is that there's a mod that came out in Witcher 3 this past week where you can mod Henry Cavill's face onto Geralt's body. That's right.
Oh, geez.
The game will carry as is, but you get to have Netflix's Witcher's Geralt now ready to go before the show even drops. It was bound to happen. I'm honestly surprised it didn't happen beforehand, but it looks really weird. I kind of wish he had his weird Superman, not Superman pencil stash that he had. That they tried to digitally hide when he was playing Superman and filming that other movie at the same time. But, yeah, that didn't happen. But yeah, it looks really weird. It looks really weird because I don't know what Henry Cavill's build's actually like, actually and not digitally altered. But Yeah, no, it looks really off-putting. Like, he's already the worst-looking part of all the teasers of the Netflix show, and I feel like this is just kind of emphasizing the point, which I think may have been the point of the mod. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just can't get into it. I'm really into Witcher. I like the Witcher series. I got into it during Witcher 2, and then I was so happy to see Witcher 3 blow up, but I am just not feeling that Netflix thing. Now, the cool thing is, it has nothing to do with the game. They have emphasized several times you're going to want to kind of remove, even though it's hard for people to do since that's most people's exposure to The Witcher is the games, not the books. But this is more based on the books / original content. So they said, hey, if you're looking for the video game adaptation, look somewhere else because this is not what it is. So for those who don't know that, just take that into mind, take it with a grain of salt, check out the books since they're finally easier to access than having to get some illegal-ass PDF, badly translated nonsense. So definitely check them out. They are good. They're very interesting. And I am really happy that the Netflix show will give more insight to Ciri and Triss's parts. Because the game kind of makes them clear companions of Geralt, where this one's actually treating them as peers of Geralt. So, good stuff. I think Netflix may not have a perfect track record, but for the most part, I feel like Netflix does an okay job. So the production value will at least be good, and the story, even if Henry Cavill is a bad part of it, I feel like Triss, Ciri, and all the other parts of it may actually still be worth checking out. So, we'll see. I don't know if you should go play that mod, but you should at least probably just wait for the
really
Netflix
weird,
show.
Just to let you know.
Huh?
I looked up images.
It looks weird, right?
Yeah,
it's really weird.
know
Especially if
how I
you're
feel
used to
about
seeing Geralt the way that he looks, and you look at the way that Henry Cavill, it's just weird.
It's odd.
Henry Cavill can have the biggest beard on earth and still look like the most baby-faced motherfucker I've seen in my life. I don't know how that's possible, but he somehow does it.
He's found a way.
Yeah, he
When
did.
life finds a way.
Right, when life finds a way, yeah. Epic Games and Fortnite. Now, Epic Games didn't necessarily do anything wrong in these news. Actually, yes, they did. So, Josh, if I told you that in a hyper-successful game that they were going to add mechs, what would you think?
Why?
Yeah, so they decided that adding...
Mechs, then why? Because Mechs would already be in it.
So they did...
Call of Duty, we're going to add Mechs. But Titanfall...
Exactly. Yeah, so they added mechs in Fortnite. And it was a fucking disaster. Because if you got a mech, you won.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's just that OP. Because you have a bunch of bricklaying motherfuckers versus a ass-ripping mech, is what the game became.
If bricks, it'll stop the mech.
I'm gonna build this house
to
protect me.
Like, the wall you're building, the mech's DPS, you're not even going to be able to see the wall render before it's already gone. Like,
yeah.
So somehow they didn't see this happening, and it was just met with absolute
they somehow didn't
discontent.
see it happening.
Yeah, they didn't see this happening, and they thought, hey guys, check this out. You know what Fortnite needs right now in all this total tokusatsu hotness that's clearly happening in the States? Mechs. Guys, you know that game Titanfall 2 that barely anyone played? Mechs. Guys, I just got my copy of Titanfall 2 the other day. You know what Fortnite needs? Fucking mechs. Now, the biggest issue too, were not just were the mechs overpowered, check out the initial odds that there was. There was 100% chance that 4 to 5 mechs were going to spawn, or 3 to 5 mechs were going to spawn in a match. So, in every match, because 100%, in every match, 3 to 5 mechs spawned.
Jeez.
Fucking how? Who approved this?
I just typed in Fortnite mech on YouTube, and I don't want to click on any because I don't want to fuck up my algorithm. But
yeah,
just the thumbnails.
Dude, look at everything.
Titles,
yeah, it shows you they weren't fans of it, not fans at all.
Yeah.
And you would think mech should make something cool, but not with this little amount of thought. It also shows you can't just shoehorn them into anything. So ever since then,
so if you're listening, make a Gundam Battle Royale game. Do it.
Well, basically, what Wooly and Pat were stripping it down, and they were basically like, you know what? Then they should have just done Titanfall, because they were basically like, all right. Mechs would have worked out if you remove the building aspects, the running on your foot, shooting, and everything basically, and just done Titanfall.
Yeah, just play Titanfall.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played the second one, but the first one was good. It was alright.
Oh my god, they added a single player campaign in the second one that is one of the best single player campaigns of anything I've ever played in my life. So
that's good, because in the first one it was weird as shit. I didn't even know it was a campaign. I was like, things are happening, and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no, the campaign in Titanfall 2, if you see a copy of Titanfall 2 you can find for like $10 now, so like, it's totally worth it. Even for the single player campaign. It's good stuff. But yeah, anyway, so
boot up Origin.
Right. So they didn't take them out, but their response was at least lowering the odds. So now there is a 22% chance, which, considering how many Fortnite matches happen in the world every day, that's not too bad. A 22.
I mean, so that's just going to go into my main gripe about why I don't like games like Fortnite, is because there's just that. It's just chance.
Yes. Yep.
Like, you could be so skilled, but if someone else gets a mech and you don't,
exactly.
No.
And what's even worse is, so that was an issue that was brought up, right? Is that this just absolutely skewed the quote-unquote skill set needed to play Fortnite, which I don't know what the actual skill set is if you were playing the base game. But like you just said, this just throws all that out the window. To which Epic Games' response is, well, we like to believe that the player can get through the adversity and just get good. It isn't a matter of getting good. You broke the game. This isn't get good. This is, the game became unplayable.
How would you score that in a competition, though, with a mech there?
Can you imagine the champ just won because he just kept getting the mech?
Right, like...
I don't know. It was really bad.
How did they not
Does it have like a
planning?
really big, blatant weak spot or something? Like,
no, it's a damage sponge. Yeah, exactly. No, I see where you're coming from, brother. Like, if you were like shoot it in the ass and it can
by your bootstraps and beat the mech. It's not that hard. Back in my days,
that was basically the approach they took. They were basically like, yo, like, I mean, like, come on, guys, don't you play? It's a competitive game, right? You guys are competitive. Don't you guys want to get good? And it's like, no, because no amount of getting good is going to destroy that undestroyable thing. So we'll see what balance changes come. We'll see when they eventually just admit they're wrong and remove it from the game. But it's been dropped again to a 22% chance of like 1 to 4 mechs spawning in the game. So
I'm definitely not playing that game ever again.
Yeah, fuck that game.
Back to PvE.
More Fortnite news, just because we have to do our jobs. So unfortunately, that involves Fortnite news. We talked about the guy, the 16-year-old, I believe his age was, that won the $3 million in the Fortnite tournament. Mm-hmm. The week after it happened, swatted, baby, because this is the mature internet we live in. So. He was streaming, because he's popular. He's obviously good. People want to watch this guy. He's no ninja, but, because he's the recent champ winner. I mean, fuck it. He's the big shit, right? So people thought it'd be funny to do it. So he's in the middle of a match on live stream on Twitch and swatted. And is it that funny? Do people really, like... First of all, it's super illegal, by the way, guys. And I believe they found out who did it. So, see ya. See ya. So there's that. But, even if you're an edgelord or a cringelord or whatever the kids are doing now, what's so funny about getting swatted?
People are shit. Like, I don't really think there's any rhyme or reason. Like, if during a misunderstanding or if you freak out, from what I understand, can't you get killed when you're getting swatted if you react wrong? Yeah.
Like, the guys coming with their riot shields. This is the fucking SWAT team. These guys coming with riot shields and fucking, like, some heavy-ass weapons from what I understand. Mm-hmm. And, like, imagine if they mistaken you grabbing that Totino's roll for something else. And it's like, that could be the end of you. Like, to me, it's absolutely not funny. Like,
It's super illegal.
Yeah, it's very illegal.
It's
You're wasting cop resources, and not even cop resources.
the SWAT team
resources.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I've never understood these.
Please, guys, internet, stop doing this.
Just stop being stupid.
It's not funny. It takes no skill to pull off. You just put yourself at risk of going to jail.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. You just gotta want to go to jail or not care about going to jail to pull this off. It's not like you have to go to the dark web to do. You just call the cops and say there's a bomb threat, and then you're done.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna happen.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like fucking. It's not funny. Like it's just one of those things where I feel like it needed to be brought up. There's nothing really to do. Hammer it home, but like it's just like fucking. I don't know. You're gonna say, Josh? Or no?
Well, I was gonna say I know there's these couple of Twitch streamers. I haven't watched them in a while, but they're a married couple. Here's a Fitness. They do a lot of Blizzard games, and they'll do workout routines and stuff like that. And
That's
I know
cool.
one time they did talk about how with the risk of that, they actually do contact their local police department and kind of say like, yeah, so here's the thing, we do Twitch streams, and this is the thing where people get swatted, so this is our address, FYI.
Yeah, so if something goes down.
Yeah, so I guess that's one thing you can do.
How fucking sad is that, though? That
if you trust the police that much, I
yeah.
guess. Because
But how fucked up is that to even have to think about taking a precaution like that? That is fucking absurd.
yeah, that's the sad thing too, and and hating to bring this up, but if someone's a streamer and they happen to be, like person of color or something like that, a minority clearly.
Yep.
Mm,
Yeah. It's scary.
Police
it really
brutality
is.
is already pretty bad. So.
Yeah, no, it's scary. No, it really is. Mallory, you look like you had a...
I do. I found an article that this is why the internet needs to stop doing this to people. Because a man actually did die from being swatted. It was 2017. Somebody basically put in a threat from him that led to the SWAT team breaking down his door. And he was fatally shot because it said that the 28-year-old and his father were in a dispute, but they weren't. They were playing Call of Duty, and he was fatally shot by one of the officers. And the guy who got upset, who sent over the SWAT squad, got 20 years in jail.
That's it?
Yeah.
Only 20?
Yeah.
Dude, 20 years to fucking get someone
Jeez.
murked due to a false threat call to get the SWAT team to show up.
Yeah. 20 years.
Yeah,
That
pretty
is
fucked.
that is peanuts for that kind of crime. Because, dude, spin it how you will, that dude got that other dude killed.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's just
That's on
plain
his
and simple.
That's on his soul for the rest of his
And it was
life.
sad he probably didn't give a fuck, but, you get 20 years of ass poundings, but still, like...
Yeah. But just stop doing it, internet. Like, really, let's just stop.
So, the sad thing is, right, that's peer-to-peer bullying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Randy Pitchford and Gearbox.
Yeah.
So, ever since Randy Pitchford had accusations from David Eddings about physical assault, he's gone dark.
Mm-hmm.
Gearbox and everyone has talked about... I think I kept calling him Gearsoft, sorry, I apologize if I was, but Gearbox has done most of the talking now through other means and not through Randy Pitchford, because ever since Eddings was just like, hey guys, you know what? I wasn't even going to bring up the physical assault. Randy got very quiet very fast. So, he talked about, Eddings, the original voice of Claptrap, talked about getting financially finangled out of doing the role because they were basically like, since he was a Gearbox employee at the time, he did the voice of Claptrap for free in the first 2 games. No royalties, nothing like that. Just another duty because you're already an employee. Guess what? He didn't work for the company anymore. So for Borderlands 3, he was like, what are we talking here? What dollars are we talking here? Not in a dickish way, but it's a job. I would love to come back and do Claptrap again. What are you talking about contractually? And what was even more interesting is he, according to him, this is of course through David Eddings directly, he did say, I'm even willing to, you know what guys, look, I'm even willing to do it. The royalties you guys, in polite language, fucked me out of in the first 2 games, tell you what, do me my backlog pay, which isn't even that much for how much 1 and 2 made, by the way, and I'll do this one for quote-unquote free then. Just give me what you owe me, and then there's no additional pay. Buy 2, get 1 free, essentially.
Yeah.
So they said, well, don't let the door hit you on your ass on the way out. We can just get someone else to voice Claptrap. See ya. So anyways, so because of that, then there was this back and forth, and then Randy Pitchford, of course, goes out calling David Eddings a liar, saying, he's just a disgruntled ex-employee that's popping off in the mouth because he's not part of this empire that's, fucking killing it, and fuck him. And David Eddings goes, you know what, buddy? You know what? How about this? How about fuck you first of all, because let all the laundry out, including the fact that at the hotel lobby at was it GDC? I believe it was GDC Games and whatever in Nevada or whatever. Talked about they were in the lobby at a hotel. He was merely asking Randy how he wanted to go about their itinerary, to which Randy Pitchford aggressively pushed and hit him, not like punched, not close-fisted, but laid his hands on him several times, boss to employee, and pushed him several times, to which several witnesses came to Eddings' defense and said, I didn't hear what it was about exactly, so I cannot confirm the reason they were doing this. However, several of them did say they did see Randy inappropriately push him physically, aggressively attack him, in a sense.
He also got a wet willy.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, no, Randy Pitchford.
Oh, yeah,
Randy Pitchford does that to the employees because he thinks it's funny.
That's weird,
and he's a fucking magician. So
that's weird.
There's that. But anyway, so there's all that. This has nothing even to do with Randy Pitchford. This is just Gearbox in general. I just want to talk about how shitty the CEO is, so it shows that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? So, YouTuber SupMatto, I believe SupMatto is, I believe, his name.
Yeah.
Avid...
SupMatto or something like that?
Yeah, SupMatto, yeah. Absolutely avid Borderlands fan, and mark for it. Just really loves it. Loves Borderlands. Has been a big part of their community. Video game devs who are still blind to this shit. Your influencers are the ones who are making people do your stuff. Pat and Matt are they are factually the ones who made Yakuza big in the States. Matt and Pat's playthrough of Yakuza 4 is what set this off. The Yakuza Metro DLC for Hat in Time, the cat-themed Yakuza parody DLC, was factually influenced by Pat. Like, Yakuza succeeded in the States because of Two Best Friends Play. Fact. So, that being said, your influencers make a big part of your success, right? Even big companies like Saga can be helped by YouTubers. He's a big supporter of this, but what happened is Gearbox loosely let out some info by accident. So he saw some stuff that was inadvertently leaked in some footage that they didn't want you to see the stuff in the background that you saw, and reported on it like anyone would, like GameSpot would, or Kotaku would, or anyone. It's just that he, as a YouTuber, broke the story first because he's the one who noticed the leak.
Yeah.
What a company would normally do is write you a formal email and be like, "Hey, bro, that video you did,
Like, oh, please don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. They would be like, "Hey, could you please take down that thing that talks about the new CVS roster? Please, like, look, we slipped it. We understand it was our bad, but we're just really trying to contain this." Because it was a fuck up. Yes, it was a fuck up on our part, but please, look. All we can really do is ask you. We would hate to escalate this, but we're just asking you. And then you go steps from there. You do the DMCA takedowns, whatever you want to do after that, if the guy doesn't comply, right? Gearbox bombards his YouTube channel with copyright strikes, even though it's not copyright infringement, just because the way the YouTube algorithm works. They shoot now, ask questions later.
Yeah.
So all his shit just started getting hit with copyright strikes. They have his Discord shut down because Gearbox reported it as a malicious black market fact leaker.
Yeah, because wasn't he like charging? Apparently, he was charging for more leaks or something like that.
So allegedly.
Yeah,
That's
I don't think there was any definite proof, but yeah,
that's what Gearbox said, right?
There were the allegations. Yeah.
So they shut down his Discord as a black market ring, essentially for leaked info, and then the icing on the cake, they send 2 very thuggish looking PIs to his home to shake him down. Now, all that is excessive, obviously, and from a professional AAA studio, absolutely unacceptable. What was their reasoning? Well, Gearbox, rather than look in and do any homework whatsoever, because God forbid you look into something before you just start firing.
Yeah.
Their excuse was, we thought it was an internal leak, so we were just trying to find out who it was so we could fire them or take appropriate action. That was Gearbox's explanation. We thought it was an employee. Whoops.
Your mafia militia goons to do that, though.
Yeah, because whoops, we thought it was an employee. And and it's just like, bro, even if you thought it was an employee, this is how you handle it?
That is scary.
What the fuck kind of response is that? I think at this
Didn't
point...
they also do something like that to like GTA modders or something like that?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that was like a whole thing because Rockstar doesn't like that shit.
Yeah.
It's... Oh, man, it's absurd.
Because I think it might have been a different company. I don't know if it was Gearbox or it might have been, Take-Two?
Take-Two.
Who sent them?
To the guy's house?
Yeah.
Yeah, Take-Two.
Yeah, Take-Two. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yep, Take-Two is the one who bankrolled the PIs.
Yeah. So fucked up.
Right?
Yeah.
Like...
From what SupMatto describes...
Hey, you were selling some leaks.
So the way he describes it as it went down is that he's dealing with all this shit. He's already freaking out because his YouTube is getting fucked up. His Discord was shut down, and he said, and how do you react when you hear a lot of knocking and doorbell ringing? You look outside and see 2 suited, well-built men knocking at your door.
Yeah.
Looking very upset. He also did say that the way he was talked to by these PIs was very intimidating, very condescending, and very passive-aggressive in the sense of, like, very threatening, but professionally threatening. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So he said it was a very...
the mafia stuff. Like,
the mafia stuff, yeah. He said it was very... He said it was the scariest experience of his life. He said all this is going down and that happens. He really thought he was about to just get murked right in his front lawn by some fucking Take-Two goons, you know? Yeah, so that's the thing. So he, in light of this, I forgot if this was before the PI thing or not, but he also did deactivate his Twitter because he is just freaking out, you know? And it sucks because he was one of the big influencers. He was a big supporter of this game. He even went as far as to say as the reason he reacted the way he did with shutting down his Twitter and stuff is because he felt bad. Mm-hmm. That his favorite game is now being ruined by him. And he didn't use his exact words, but he gave off the vibe as if someone who disappointed a parent when the parent just was like, I'm sorry you beated me because I ate the applesauce early. Mm-hmm. It's just like, no, they absolutely took the wrong course of action. Even if you quote unquote did wrong, which by the way you didn't, you just did. They fucked up and you just were like, oh, I gotta show my friend they fucked up. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like when Steam leaked the Street Fighter V update before Street Fighter could talk about it. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
There's a question what the legalities of all that is. Like, if he could.
I feel like he could if he wasn't scared out of his goddamn mind right now. I feel like he could probably take some course of action if he gets the right video game attorney or whoever. He's very well versed in that law. I'm sure.
I mean, I'm pretty certain he could do something about the fact that they sent fucking goons to his place.
That's intimidation, yeah.
Yeah.
Trespassing and intimidation.
Psychological damage. Let's say this guy was
I honestly,
You know, if he had if he had a gun or something, he probably could have told him, "Hey, get the fuck off the property."
Yeah.
Or,
if that was
know.
Texas, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the crazy thing. So that was a week ago, right? As of this week, a week later, his YouTube channel's just gone.
Mm-hmm.
So
I heard about that one.
We don't know the reason people are waiting for comments. So if this posts and he's commented since, as of me reading the thing earlier today, there's still no update. They're hearing official word from him because that's real weird. There's two suspicions, of course, which are likely the case. Too many copyright strikes, your channel is deleted by YouTube, or if he is a continuation of the way he reacted about his Twitter and just turned it off himself. Very, very possible as well. But it's a shame. The dude's really freaking out. Somehow feels bad because I'd be like, fuck Borderlands 3. I'm already like, fuck Borderlands 3. I already told y'all a million times I was going to boycott this shit. This kind of shit does not help trying to change my mind.
Yeah, this makes me want to not ever
Fuck
play
this
Borderlands again.
I don't even know how to fucking review it anymore. Like, I just might just totally surpass it and say fuck it because this kind of behavior, even if the game's great, this kind of behavior is absolutely unacceptable for a company. Like I said, we talked about the swatting, the peer-to-peer bullshit, but this is like a fucking professional company acting like this. Fuck off. Like, it's...
Yeah, quote-unquote professional company.
Yeah, right, exactly. Professional company acting like goddamn children. And you know, again, of course a company ran by Randy Pitchford would have a knee-jerk reaction like this. You know, the fucking kid is just like the goddamn parent. It's really fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked.
Yeah, not great. More awesome news. I almost said epic, but I have to watch how I use that now because people are going to think I'm talking about Epic Games again. More epic... God damn it. I did it anyways. More awesome gaming news. There's a game in Japan that's pretty big called Starwing Paradox. It's a competitive mech game which has FMV sequences and designs done by Sunrise Entertainment. Josh, you know Sunrise, right? What does Sunrise do? Do you know?
Oh man, weren't they the animation team behind many of our beloved Gundam series?
Correct. So a lot of cool mech designs and the FMVs are actually done by them. So very Gundam quality, cool looking stuff. Well, the tournament that was supposed to go down in Japan has been canceled due to excessive death threats to Square Enix and the development team. They received so many death threats that they don't even want to risk it. One man was arrested due to arson threats in a past because of this game. The article didn't even talk about what everyone's so pissed off about the game. They just talked about all the stuff the flack that this game has been getting.
They're just mad about?
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's definitely understandable to take the arson threat seriously, considering what happened with Kyoto Animation a while ago.
Exactly. It's very... People out there that are psychos, and they will really do it. Mm-hmm. So they took the arson threat seriously, and another man was arrested because he didn't just do death threats, but he actually did show up near the premises. So...
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So because of all that stuff leading up to it, and then apparently the number of death threats they received was not revealed, but apparently an absurd amount, which given the context of the situation, I would believe it's really a lot. They just canceled it. They were just like straight up. There were supposed to be like 3 or 4 different events related to it. A big festival, basically a big festival that weekend and tournament. Their own little baby Evo for this game, and they just canceled the entire thing. Called it off. Just said it's not worth the risk of these the devs and the employees just actually getting killed at an event like that. So, yeah. Talk about real fucking salt, man. People say Sam Show's full of some bullshit. What the hell is Starwing Paradox doing to warrant that kind of reaction? It's fine. You can look up articles. Nothing really explains it.
No.
I looked up a couple of them, and I was just like, everyone's just salty about this goddamn game. The animation looks great, though.
I don't understand. It looks beautiful.
Yeah,
it
it's
looks
a very
like a
beautiful
good game,
game.
but Jesus.
Because Mechs by Sunrise are awesome. I like it a lot, but yeah. I don't know, it's weird. Let's go a little bit lighthearted. Illegal but lighthearted.
I mean, now that we're done with all that.
Now we're done with all that. Illegal but lighthearted. A man in Seattle. It's funny because Mallory was just talking to me about this game. A man in Seattle was pulled over by a sheriff, I believe, or at least a cop, and was caught playing 8 Pokemon Go games at the exact same time while driving.
Jesus, that's a lot.
That's right, people. the breaking news is the fact that people still play Pokemon Go. No, actually, so the guy that was pulled over had a foam insert in his console that had 8 smartphones simultaneously running Pokemon Go. Apparently, seeing the warning not to play that game while driving 8 times was not enough for this man. And a better warning needs to be added to the game because it's the developer's fault. No, anyways. Yeah, no. That was a thing. So, here's the best part. He didn't get a ticket. Because he was pulled over because the cop wanted to check on him because I guess he was probably driving a little crooked, but didn't necessarily break any laws. And although the cop did see the games in the console running, didn't necessarily see him playing the game, so couldn't issue anything. So the guy just drove off and was just told, no, do not play 8 Pokemon Go's at the same time. You probably shouldn't play any. But, what the fuck is wrong with people? This whole podcast is just what the fuck is wrong with everyone. Like,
by the way, I think I did find the cause of the controversy.
Oh, for the death threats?
Yeah.
Okay, please.
Starwing paradox?
Starwing paradox. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Well, why is everyone so mad?
Or, I don't know, do you want to finish your thing and then we go back?
No, fuck that guy. He's just playing Pokemon Go. No one gives a shit. No, you're fine.
Done.
It's Seattle Pokemon Go. Stop.
Interesting now.
Alright, cool. So, apparently, one of the character designers, Yoshiyuki Sadamoto, drew criticism for his comments. It says last week. This was written on the 15th. Okay. So, yeah, still last week.
Okay.
In which he called, I'm really bad at pronouncing because this looks like Korean, Kim Seo-kyung and Kim Aeon-sung's Statue of Peace sculpture depicting World War II era, quote, comfort women, unquote, quote, dirty, unquote, and quote, vulgar, unquote.
Mm-hmm.
So, looks like that is. And then there's like a link to another article, which this one is from the 12th. Yeah.
So,
here's a tweet he posted on Friday concerning the After Freedom of Expression historical art exhibition at the Aichi Prefecture Museum of Art. Let's see. Okay, so which depicts a World War II era comfort woman, the euphemistic term for a woman or underage girl forced to work in military brothels servicing the Imperial Japanese Army.
Correct.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. Oh, you didn't know what that was until now.
No.
Oh, okay.
Like at first I kind of thought, at first I was thinking like, okay, it kind of sounds like something related to sex work, and then once I read that, I was like, ooh. In the tweet, Sadamoto called the statue dirty and vulgar, claiming that the art was simply propaganda with no aesthetic value.
So, delving into that, we're pretty well versed in Japanese culture. I'm very well versed. I'm obsessively versed in Korean culture. They have a lot of butting of heads because of stuff like that, and it's a really weird relationship that those two countries have because they really aren't fans of each other, like racially. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to draw any unfair comparisons to other cultures or holy wars or anything like that, because God forbid I get involved in that. However, they really just don't get along too well in that sense, right? There was a similar controversy happened with this girl from this group Twice, who wore a shirt that was sympathizing about comfort women and stuff like that. So it was very interesting when you brought that up, because this isn't the first incident where this has happened, where, she drew Japanese netizens' attention because she wore that shirt. How dare her, blah, 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 all this shit and everything. And, there's several instances where some of these K-pop stars tour in Japan, and there was a example of a group that was doing a little live stream to talk to their fans for a bit, and in the background you could hear it was from a guy from a group called Monster X, and you could hear citizens in the background calling him a derogatory word for Koreans and Japanese in the background, and calling him that and all this shit, and very hostile. There's several videos of them being K-pop stars being followed around, being told just derogatory shit as they go around town minding their own business, doing their thing, that. On the flip side of things, ironically, the top 10 charts in Japan in music is almost entirely Korean, because J-pop hasn't been good in 30 years. So, I don't know, it's just one of those things where their cultural headbutting is extreme. And to me now, thank you for that, by the way.
I'm sending another one.
A lot of these links that we're talking about, they definitely need to be dropped in this. So please, guys, if you had the chat and everything, we'll put that together later. But yeah, I don't know. It's a very intense situation. I think people really don't. When I tell people that the Koreans and the Japanese don't get along, I don't think people understand quite the magnitude to what I'm talking about. So
yeah,
it's bad. They have very bad race relations.
Now, granted, I'm just kind of skimming through this. Initially, I thought it was his comments were going to be in regards to like the content, like I guess the topic of it. So that's why I kind of was like, whoa, like when I read about the comfort women and Imperial Japanese Army. However, it sounds like more of his criticisms were actually in regards to like the actual the technique that was done with the sculpture. In which case, I'll probably have to reread this. But if it's really just about how the piece of work was made. I don't know.
I'm going to go ahead and suffice it to say, everyone can check out the article below. Feel free to actually me on social media. It's all fine. But suffice it to say, I will go ahead and wager that it's not worth death threats. But
it might have been it might have been his verbiage. But yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't really almost nothing
warrants that.
Almost nothing warrants that.
Exactly, which is my point exactly. People need to chill the fuck out and stop. Why did everything have to jump to killing people?
Right,
Speaking of things getting killed off, Forza 6 is going to reach its end of life cycle on September 15th, 2019. So that's in about a month, or a little less. So, if you wanted Forza 6, now's the time to get it. Forza 6 is gonna be ripped, by the way. If you do not pick up Forza 6 now, it is being permanently delisted from all digital fronts. And you can get all $100 worth of DLC for $5.
Nice.
And it's also the current Games for Gold game. So, you can go get the game for free, and then you can get all the DLC for $5. That was the biggest criticism Forza's gotten ever since Forza 4, is just the DLC getting worse and worse in every fucking game.
Yeah, the last one I played was 6, I think.
Okay.
It was alright. It was okay. I just really hate how, fucking capitalism. Oh, you like Porsches? Well, you better give us
the Porsche expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even a couple. It was like a whole fucking $30 add-on, motherfuckers.
I know, that shit pisses me off.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Because what is it why was it there was wasn't one of some game company had the rights to Porsche or something like that? It's something stupid.
It's
kind
they
of
had to do it. It was a cross deal.
The EA thing.
Yeah, it was like a three-way deal between Porsche,
it's like
the other company, and them.
Yeah, and it's like the whole Madden thing where EA has the rights to the NFL, so only they can make NFL games.
Yep, correct. That's exactly what it is. And then for a while, NBA were in the same thing with the 2K, is why there was a few years Live didn't do anything either. Or EA's game didn't do anything, so... Yeah, stuff like that is really fucking weird. But, again, if you wanted to pick up Forza 6, go get it before it dies on September 15th, 2019. I
have a hard copy anyway. So.
Exactly. I was going to say, Josh, we talk about this a lot. Yet another example. Yet another fucking example of why all digital isn't always all great. Now, if I understand correctly, this is at least the case where even if you delete it off your system, as long as you have the license to your thing, you can re-download it whenever you want. Like the Deadpool game and all that other shit, although why would you want to play the Deadpool game? That game's so bad. I recently replayed it and remembered how shitty it was just because I was like, how shitty was this? And I said, oh yeah, really shitty. So yeah, no, it's a little, it's why I believe that the few people out there that are still collecting them physical copies like Mr. Josh, you're entirely crazy. Yeah, you're at least covered. So there's that. You do got to put that disc in there and stand up and do all that stuff that I just can't be fucked to do. But at least you won't run into never playing a game again or if there was a physical copy of PT, would have been okay. Okay.
I wonder.
What's up?
Like, I'm reading this article, so I'm trying to find the reason as to why it's being delisted. But they just state, "Oh, it's nearing the end of its life."
Yeah, they call it end of life cycle for Forza. They just don't.
Like,
they just can't be fucked anymore.
Make sure you fucking better buy the new one.
It's got to be. You know what I'm thinking, Josh? If I had to guess, it's got to be a license thing. Subaru's probably not going to sign with them anymore or something.
I mean, probably, yeah.
Or maybe the Porsche deal. Maybe the Porsche deal's probably running out.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing that I hate about that is because, like, say you might be skeptical about getting into the franchise, right? Well, sometimes you might want to look at one of the older games because you're probably going to find it cheaper and be okay, well, how do I like this? And,
I don't.
not going to be able to do that now.
Yeah.
No, whatever.
Yeah, no. And, you bring up the licensing thing, right? And in this sense, and licensing's always a nightmare. The industry knows that. And that's why most things just do generic, fucking off-brand bullshit, right? Forza showed how hard it can be and how annoying it can be. Because clearly, to make a deal with all those car companies was a pain in the ass to put together. But the game that surprises me, and maybe it's because it's Japanese, is Yakuza. Because, everything in that game you can just, go get and, do. Because they're real brands. If you go to a bar in the Yakuza games and you go to get a drink, it's not Jack Daniels, it's Jack Daniels, that, specific bottle and brand. Gold label and all that shit. It's Jose Cuervo is the tequila you take in it. You can go to, you know what I mean? In Judgment, one of the steakhouses is a real steakhouse you can go to in Japan. And guess what? The NPC is the real CEO of that company that you can go meet in Japan. Yakuza, I don't know how the fuck they pull that off. I don't know if it is Red Tape Nightmare or if, it's just different. But yeah, they license the fuck out of everything in that game and it works. It's kind of cool though. I actually really do like it because it does give me a sense of immersion in the sense of wow, he drinks that kind of drink. I can go drink that kind of drink too and be the cool alcoholic protagonist. Great. I would like to be Kiryu, but that's a different story. All right, so
who doesn't want to be Kiryu?
Right. Okay, so the main topic we're going to go to before we go into all that, you can email us at disconnectedcastmail@gmail.com. I'm so tired from work. I'm already done now, but and that's right, it's disconnectedcastmail@gmail.com, and you can talk to us about the story, which the main story is you have the ability to trade in your Switch, that as long as it was purchased after, what was it, July 2019?
Mm-hmm. I think.
I'm just going to get into it right now. Fuck everyone crying about this shit. You, person that still listened this far into the podcast, you made the 1%, but fuck you, because, look, they didn't have to do this trade-in thing, so why are you crying? The fact that you're almost getting the entire credit should be something fine. Guess what happened to everyone who owned a PS4 for a trillion years and then the PS4 Pro came out? Did they give you 80% of your... Did they do an 80% buyback and make you pay the last, 20%? No. Sony just said, bro, just buy it. Dude, just buy it. When the Xbox came out and that, was dropped, did Microsoft go, hey, we'll give you this much more money if you bought one recently? No, they just said, oh, you bought the Xbox One S last month? Oh, that's a goddamn shame. The Xbox One X is out now.
Yeah.
I think that crying about it, they don't fucking do it. They don't fucking do it. Then oh no, they're only giving, I still have to pay an extra $70-$80 or whatever to get my upgrade. Well, then don't upgrade. Enjoy your 4-hour battery life. What is this non-issue? But the reason I made it the end story is my whole point of this is the thing this is why the video game industry has become the amalgamation of shit that it has, is that you can't win, right? You become piece of shit corporate nonsense like we've been talking about all podcast, or you try to be a nice guy once and now look what happened. They tried to go ahead and buy out the cost of all these consoles that people are probably going to try to trade in to get the upgraded version, and then everyone just shits on the idea. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's annoying. I don't know, what do you guys think about the whole thing? Do you guys think that since it was bought within a certain amount and the new version came out, that they are even obligated to do this shit at all?
I mean, no company really, has the need to do that.
Yeah.
They don't have to. Like you just said, they just say, fuck it. Oh, well, I mean, we announced we were going to make this new console. You didn't have to buy it. You could have just waited, So, I mean, come on. You throw a bone.
Exactly, and that's the thing, that's exactly it, you threw them the fucking bone, and now they want the whole goddamn steak. It's like, no, that's not how this works. There was still some meat on that bone. There was 80% meat on that bone, actually. I don't know, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. No company's obligated to do this. This is probably a very unprecedented and probably now the last time that any company is going to try to fucking do this. Because now look what happened. People can never just look on the fucking bright side of things. I would have been ecstatic if I could have got that much back to try to upgrade on anything.
Yeah. How much fucking GameStop's going to do? You have to wait for GameStop to have a special kind of promo deal.
To even be
when I got
remotely
in
worth
for
it.
my terabyte one, not only were they giving the trade-in thing, but they also had the game, the console itself discounted.
Yep. Exactly.
And I still paid maybe about $100.
Right. See, regardless, you still paid a quarter of the console essentially.
Yeah. Now that was including tax.
Okay.
Excluding tax, it would have been $75.
Okay.
But we have a high sales tax being in Texas. So.
Yeah, we do. But yeah, I agree with you. Definitely. No, I mean, you worded it very well. You gave them a bone, and then if that's what happened. Mallory?
Yeah, I don't see anything too bad about this. I mean, if you really want that battery, just go get it. I think the only time I've ever seen a console company do this is if there's a major
recall.
Yeah, on the console.
Mm-hmm.
Well, think about it. Xbox 360 did that one time, and then after that, you were just SOL. Mm-hmm. They were doing the free repairs.
Yeah.
But that was a nightmare. Josh, did you ever get your Xbox 360 repaired?
Well, no.
Daniel did, I believe, and that was a pain in the ass.
Yeah. I know my 360, I haven't booted up in years, but I remember...
Well, don't worry, buddy, it's not going to boot up ever again.
Light, but
yeah.
Yeah, but...
I know my brother...
But otherwise, I never really had super major issues with my 360. I think probably the worst was sometimes the disc, the little mechanism there would get too dirty, and so it would get stuck. But, yeah.
Well, you're lucky then. You seem to be in the minority in that one, because I know a lot of people, personally, and even me, I went through 5 of them, so...
Yeah, so did my brother.
Yeah, so actually the story of the 360 was when I first got it.
Uh-huh.
I got it through Rent-A-Center, because, poor. So, the model that we got first, that red ringed a lot, so I had to take it back to the store. They had to repair it. They would sometimes give a loaner and a back, and then it would break again. And eventually, I got a model that worked fine. And my stepfather worked for Rent-A-Center at the time too, and he was kind of like, hey, they're kind of talking about they got the unit back, and they want you to, they want to bring it back because you rented a rental, and the one you have now that they gave you as a loaner is new. And I was like, well, it's not new anymore, and that one keeps breaking. I had to take it back 3 times, and he was like, all right. So I guess he talked to them, and they were just like, okay, keep it then. So
nice. Well, imagine how fucked you would have been if you didn't have that advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's fucked up, but for anyone who doesn't understand, either because you were born after the 360 era, and the current generation is your first gaming generation as a cognizant person, or you just never owned one, because there were tons of people who also just never owned a 360. Mm-hmm. Although, for a while, the 360 was actually the leader in that race. A lot of people forget that the PS3 had a late-ass growth spurt. But yeah, anyways. For those who don't know, if you ever look up the picture of what the inside of an Xbox 360 looks like, it's a behemoth of a console that gets very fucking hot. For anyone who's who knows about computer temps and console temps, they get very fucking hot. And it had a heat sink about the size of a fucking, like, orange, like the top of an orange peel. And they were just like, this is good engineering. And,
like, they even had to have the power adapter external. You have that brick that you have to plug in.
And that still only mitigated it so much, and it's calling, I don't know. Mm-hmm. The good thing is the Xbox One absolutely resolved that. The brick was able to be smaller because of that. It had a much more reasonable heatsink and was vented like 3/4 of the console on the Xbox One is vented. So, thankfully, no problems with that. I mean, I also did upgrade at one point, but no problems with that. I mean, think about it, right? How many people still have a fucking PS2 or a GameCube that's still kicking like nobody's business? Like, tons, because those were designed well.
Mm-hmm.
So
I played the fuck out of my original PS2. Like, I think I burnt out the graphics card.
Oh, wow.
With the video card on it. Yeah, because one time I just turned it on and it was just like broken lines everywhere.
How many years did you get out of it? Oh, in total before that happened, would you say? On and off.
So many. I played the fuck out of that thing. Like, so many hours.
Is it still your number one console of all time?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. Like, that is probably my absolute favorite console. Like, in regards to video game library and just, like, a lot of nostalgia, I absolutely love PlayStation 2.
If you were playing one of those dumbass games of, like, if you were on a desert island, you could only keep one console and its entire library, would have been that one. That's a good choice. That is a very good choice. There are a lot of fucking badass PS2 games that are still getting ported to like Steam and stuff now because they're so damn good. Yeah, good stuff, man. That's a fantastic console. So I always would stick by the PS1, but when I start thinking of the library of the PS2, I think I really should just say PS2. Miss Mallory, what about you? What the fuck were we talking about? Oh, right. We just went on a tangent. What about you? What is your random bonus segment before we wrap it up? What is your favorite console of all time?
Favorite console of all time. It's gonna sound kind of like ridiculous, but the N64. Like, I have always loved that console. Like, it's always been my favorite to play with, and play on. And plus, I was like a really like loner kid, so I loved playing games by myself, and that console just made it great for me. Especially because my sisters would steal the PS2 and I wouldn't get to play. And then I got to, play Pokemon Snap all the time.
Goddamn, Pokemon Snap is so good. That was the biggest. That was
a good one.
That was the biggest war crime that Nintendo ever committed. Was that the Wii U was the perfect console to have Pokemon Snap, and they didn't release it until the Wii U. Well, the Wii U was dead in the water, but I mean, or dead on arrival rather, but. They didn't release it until like the very end of the Wii's life cycle. They finally said, "Wait, guys, Pokemon Snap."
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then Pokemon
would you take your cartridge to the Blockbusters to print out your little photos and the stickers?
I never did that, but that would have been awesome.
I did one.
The only thing
I wish I still had the card.
The only thing I did with printer stuff in regards to a game console ever was when I had the printer for the Game Boy, and I just did dumbass pixelated ass pictures that you could print on the little printer.
I miss that.
Yeah.
Nintendo always had some interesting ideas. It's just for as many great ones as they've had, a lot of them also haven't panned out. They're a very coin toss company.
Back in the day, Nintendo and Sega were trying so much shit, man. Like, you remember the old Sega thing where, like, they had the controller where it was the motion sensor thing, and you had the panels. So it's like you put your arm one way, and that's supposed to be, like, one button or one direction on the D-pad.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, it was so weird. It was like the Power Glove, but your whole body now.
The Power Glove, it's so bad.
The Activator? Was that what it was called?
It might have been. It was a weird. I want to say it was like a hexagon, or it might have been an octagon.
It's the Sega Activator. God, I forgot about this thing.
I just remember that weird fucking Ouija board for fucking regular NES.
Yeah.
That worked like ass.
Wait, the mat?
Yeah. No. Well, it was like a big plastic thing with like imagine a mini air hockey table. And it was black, and it had like you were supposed to like modularly like do your control. It was fucking the worst. I probably owned, because my parents, would just get me the add-ons for this stuff. I think I had every peripheral for the NES, and a lot of them were shit. So thanks. That wasn't a mocking thanks to my parents. No, I do appreciate that. I meant I was doing a thanks Nintendo thing, and that just came out really weird. Sorry about that. I think it's time to end the podcast. All right, guys. You can. All right. Where can they find you, Mr. Josh, on the internet? Not my parents, because now they're going to be mad.
YouTube at ShiroPlay5, Twitter at just ShiroJoestar.
And Miss Mallory?
Instagram at Awesome Mally, and Twitter at Awesome Mally, even though I don't know how to use Twitter yet.
And me at... Oh, thank God. You're lucky. And then me at ZD Rocker everywhere, and then SlimAsianEntertainment.com, as well as all the episodes of Disconnected on disconnectedcast.com. Until next time, we will see you guys every Monday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So see you later. Don't death threat anybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
No swatting. Swatter, no swatting. Swatter, no swatting.
I want to make a meme of that now.
Oh, man.
Nice.
Only that time. Only that hour.
All that I need before I speak to your sight. Little Debbie's in the Arizona iced tea. Refreshing.